like that, and it usually has the same thing like this. It's a thumb. And you can see how it forms a bigger hand. And every part of that is full of hands that comes from a different direction. I mean, it's difficult, man, to explain it because it's just hard, man, because it's so complex due to the fact that it overlaps all other geometrical shape of hands, the same thing but in a different, and on top of it, and it just going different. I mean, you try to do the outlines and then you're messing up the thing because it's impossible, it's three-dimensional. Who the heck can do that? A computer program couldn't do that. Not that kind. Look at that. Like I say, it's molten. Dr. Bergen was right on the money on this one. Well, most of the stuff he say, most of not all the things that he say, look, all these deals right here, those are hands. Like that. That's the only thing that he didn't know. The geometrical shape of hands. And then you can see because it's repetitive. And you see how it goes around here with another finger and another one, exactly another hand. But each finger is grabbed by the same thing, a hand, a small size hand. Grabbing each finger, that's why it's so complex. That right there. Look. So how do you know? Oh, golly, man. If you think it's a snake or a dog or a, put your hand and try to make a dog or a snake or a fish with that small sculpture. See if he comes out. Look, the sculpture of the hands are so amazing that it makes two sides. Let me show you what I'm talking about. One finger has two fingernails, one on the left and one on the right. Because the one on the left matches one hand and the right matches another, the same hand but on the opposite side. Let me back out with the zoom and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Right here. Look, let me show you right here. That is a hand like this. You can see the thumb fingernail right there. And you can see the hand. And then there is another one right here. You can see it. And then it continues the same way here, like that. But I mean, it's insane, man. Like, look at the finger, the index, the middle, you can see the fingernail, then the ring, then the pinky, and then you keep repeating the same thing like that. And like this, boom, you can see it here. And that's the thumb from a bigger size hand. Does a smaller hand become they're part of a bigger and bigger. And then the whole thing is one huge fingernail that is part of a huge ass hand. That's how I discovered that geometry from the Tsiolkovsky colorized image. And then the thing doesn't end there, because then you look at the outlines of the crater, and then you see that the tubidios of fingers continues. Like I said, not an inch on that moon has been spared. It's like it's, and then they form scenery. They form, when you look at a certain distance, you see that they, like I said, only a God could create something like that. That you can see other entities or figures doing things, like 3 of them, but all made with hands, shapes. That is not, I mean, that is not easy, man. And then look at this. That's a freaking hand. These two videos, those are hands right there, look. Look. I mean, my drawing is an insult to what's there. It almost looks like a foot, but I'm pretty sure that it is a hand. And it continues into that dark part right there. Just that I lowered the brightness a lot to be able to show that the geometry in the dark area around the crater. And look, it repeats right here again underneath, and then to the left. Every single part of that, the centerpiece in that crater, that protruding centerpiece is that, made out of hands. All of it. It's the same thing, it just continues. Then look at down here. You can see it's all the same thing. It just repeats millions of times. My goodness. And then you see it right here again on the bright part. It's all the same. Look, there's a bright hand right there. Look, right there. Check it out. I'll put my hand on it and show you that matches perfectly. Right here. Where is it? Right here. Look, like that. See the fingers curling, and then you see the thumb like this, exactly like a hand. And you can see it the same thing this way. You can see the thumb right there. And look, right there, like that. You see it right here. Then it becomes bigger, and then it repeats it. You see the fingernail curve, rectangular. The same thing. You see it repeats. And it repeats in rows, and it goes this way, diagonally, interlatch like that. So imagine how complex it becomes. That this is just impossible to do tracing the outlines of it, because you will only do one of them, but they're like 50 in one piece. So down here it continues the same exact pattern, and then it gets bigger. You can see the shiny part and the curvy part of the fingernail. You can see even the shiny part. It was done with a lighter material. That's how amazing those electromagnetic vehicles that can do that. It's called hands on everything and create scenery. It's like a consciousness thing. It had to be like James Horan talk about that. See, look at that. See, that's a hand. That piece right there is a hand. Look at, and it goes on both sides. It's like it's holding a bow like this. You can see the hand curve this way, and then it curves this way, and then you see the thumb like this, and then you see the same here. I mean, who in the world, what freaking alien is gonna be carrying something like that millions of times and everywhere? You know, that's the design. Because it's a conscious driving it. Look at that right there. And yeah, some of them look like this or that, but that is the design, the basic design for everything. And not only there, it's some nebula, some galaxy, planets, asteroid, comets, they're all the same. That, look, the hand thing. You see how they all curve the same way? My God, cannot keep repeating the same shit. You have to be really retarded and blind not to see that the same geometry repeats and repeats and repeats. It's just in different directions and sizes. One become bigger because there's a bunch of them that become that. That kind of deal cannot be made by any alien shit that would. Why would they come and do that? Decorate the entire moon with that. In the brighter parts, in the dark part, the dark part are part of the brighter part. They all match. No matter which way you look at it, it matches. That's almost like a compulsive behavior, perfectionist. Right there, those are two thumbs. But other part of a hand that is part of another hand, a bigger one, and look, and every big it subdivides in a smaller one that goes in every direction. That's why it's so difficult to discern that geometry. And you have to make a video that lasts 10 hours to show this moon, next moon, every other planets and other moons and asteroids and comets. You have to have 3 days of video. People will get tired after a while. Oh God, the same shit repeat. And people, believe me, people are narrow-minded, man. The commentary, you read the comments and you see how ignorant people are. Not everyone, but there's a lot of ignorance there, a lot of it. And they just wouldn't know, they refuse to think of something like that could be, which it is. Like I say, I spent 18 years now. And it's only the past 3 years that I finally cracked that code. Because I couldn't figure out why all these things look like demonic faces, but they were not. It's just that we we associate, because NASA blurred the shit out. They tampered the images, and all you see is a little bit here, a little bit there, and they look all the eyes with vertical pupil. Now I know that there's no vertical pupil shit, it's just the fingernails overlap each other and create a narrow triangular gap